Review.
There's no line of work more stable than Space Marine. The ubiquitous occupation is never at a want for intergalactic battles, and that eternal struggle is realized once more in Section 8 Prejudice. But just because you've waged similar battles in your first-person shooting history, doesn't mean you should turn up your nose at this high-flying entry. Prejudice builds upon the already solid foundation of the original to create an expansive and intense adventure that offers a lot more content than you would expect from an Xbox Live Arcade game. There is a story that revolves around the inherent prejudice Space Marines have to deal with, but its underdeveloped characters make it difficult to care about the high-stakes events. It's the gameplay in Prejudice that's worth caring about. On the surface, Prejudice looks like a cheap Halo knockoff. The bulky armor your fellow soldiers wear gives off a serious Master Chief vibe, and the rock formation paths that make up most of the single multiplayer levels look like they could have been created in the Forge editor. But beyond those aesthetic similarities is a shooter that feels unique. Your jump is powered by a rocket pack with a limited fuel supply, and making smart use of this in battle makes all the difference. You can also lock onto foes periodically, which is a great counter when they're flying above you itching to be shot down. There are 7 guns in your arsenal and a variety of ammo types to deal with. This adds even more variety to the action, though the controls are not quite as smooth as other games in the genre. Your aiming reticule moves slowly, and that's not resolved even when you crank up the sensitivity. There are also problems with the vehicles. The tank and mech get stuck on obstacles too easily, so it's often safer to leave your protective suit behind to take on attackers on your own terms. The controls don't really get in the way of your success, but they lack the precision of Prejudice's peers. You have plenty of time to mess around with your weapons and come to grips with the controls in the lengthy campaign. Variety is the name of the game here, though Prejudice is always focused on the core shooting. There are large battlefields in which you must slowly overcome an occupying force, and others where the situation is reversed. Other times you have to trudge through narrow corridors. All of these require different tactics to survive, and solving a problem creatively is a lot of fun. At times, difficulty spikes can make the campaign frustrating, but the challenge is usually welcome. This is a varied and exciting campaign that does a great job of sucking you into the world. Multiplayer hasn't seen nearly as much improvement from its predecessor, though it's still quite fun. There's only one mode, Conquest, and 2 teams vie for supremacy of 4 outposts. But you don't have to worry about capturing and holding bases. You earn points for killing enemies, destroying their tools, and even healing your friends, so you can find tons of ways to contribute. Dynamic combat missions also give you new objectives to take part in on the fly. You may have to kill a VIP or capture a jammer, and these do a great job of keeping things fresh. Swarm is a new mode in Prejudice, reminiscent of Horde in Gears of War. You protect your base from AI attackers, and you can plant turrets and send for vehicles to help you out. Teaming up with friends is fun, but there aren't quite enough maps to keep this interesting for long. Still, this is a good addition to the franchise and another mode to lose a few hours in. There isn't much that Prejudice doesn't do well. Just about every element of Section 8 has been improved in some way, resulting in a refined shooter that never fails to entertain. Even though the core mechanics are solid and the weapons are varied, Prejudice lacks the creative spark that could have made this something special. The expansive campaign does a fine job of mixing up your objective types, but doesn't do anything you haven't seen before. It's fun while it lasts, but you'll be hard-pressed to remember anything specific that occurred when the ending credits roll. And the competitive offering is guilty of the same problem. Don't expect Prejudice to change the way you play shooters, but this is still a really enjoyable game and a great value.
Currently, I am not the one who should be running